Over 10 years ago, I approached two ministers that were in government, Chris Smith, who was then Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sport, and David Blunkett, who was Secretary of State for Education, and said we absolutely have to bring these two departments together to discuss creativity in schools. Not just arts education, but creativity wholesale. That we're not really giving our children an opportunity, not just to have an academic ladder, but to have a creative ladder. And unless we do that, we're squandering the talent of young people, we're squandering the opportunity to use the creativity of all subjects, and we aren't using the arts as an ingredient in creativity, i.e. not just arts education, but the role of arts in helping unlock subjects of all kinds, from geography through to political science. And out of that came an agreement to form a committee, which I helped form. I asked Ken Robinson if he would chair it, and we created a report called All Our Futures, which really was a radical look at how education from nursery straight through to tertiary could use the arts and creativity in a very, very specific, fundamental way, changing the way that schools thought and operated. It was a report that was lauded by many and then sort of stuck on a shelf and not really implemented by government, because actually it was quite scary in terms of the radical changes it was suggesting. I say that because it isn't new, a conversation about arts education in schools. It isn't new, an idea about creativity in schools, but we have to keep returning to the subject, because again and again we're seeing children being failed at school, and yet the opportunities that we could bring them are so obvious, because when they have those opportunities in other contexts, in arts institutions, for example, we can see that they suddenly can flourish and contribute enormously to the life that they want to lead, the life of their communities, and the economic potential of this country. So, having done so often the conversation with a Secretary of State for Education or with a Secretary of State for Culture that goes, shouldn't we be doing more? I gave a TED talk a couple of years ago where I basically said, actually, I need to rethink the level of commitment that arts organisations are giving to education. We do at Southbank Centre, and all my life I have done lots and lots of work with schools, with colleges, with community groups that brought them into a situation of using our institutions for the purpose of creative education. But I always thought of that as in parallel with school. But I've moved beyond that now, and I feel that we have to do something radical ourselves.